be, hey, I'm going to the Broker Carrier Summit. Am I going to see you there? I'd love to see you there. Let's meet. And actually making those contacts online first so that when we go in person, we're going to feel like we know each other. And I've had probably a dozen of those already. And as it gets closer, those are only going to increase even more. When using LinkedIn, make sure that you are not only posting, but engaging with other people's posts. If you see something that's very thoughtful or thought-provoking, send a great response. On top of that, you could even DM them, hey, I really love that. Here's some other ideas I had. Maybe that's a more personal one-on-one, but make sure you're commenting on their post. And if it's a great one, make sure you share it and repost with your thoughts as well. The other side of LinkedIn is the business page. It's one of those things that we need to have because when people look us up, they want to know who we are as a company, what do we stand for, what are our values. Now, people are not going to engage with this page nearly as much. For example, if you look at B2B's page, we have currently a little under 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. Now, if you look at my personal page, I think I'm about 2,800 as the time of this recording connections. That's where the bulk of that connecting is going to happen in interaction. So don't get discouraged if you have a business page and it's not getting a lot of traction. What we see is people are going to that page to research us before they reach out or respond to a job ad. So it's critical that you have it. You're just not going to have the engagement that you think you should have. At the end of the day, people do business with people. And that's who we're connecting with. So we're connecting on the personal pages and making those. So keep that in mind when you post. You're posting as a freight broker or freight agent, but as a genuine human being that wants to make real connections. Because at the end of the day, this business is all about connections and having those one-on-one relationships and not just being able to do business with the greatest website or another online tool or another app that we need to download. One of the things that I think is really important when posting is having an idea of where you want to go. Because if you're just posting randomly with no roadmap to success, it's going to look confusing and your followers are going to be like, I don't even know what this person's talking about. So figure out where you're at today and where you want to go in that 1 year or 3 year mark and really start to develop that map to that destination that you want to go to. All right, let's circle back to our personal page on LinkedIn because I think that's the most important part of this video is making genuine connection there. For me, example, I mentioned previously, I post about running a lot. I'll put some pictures about our family because that shows I'm a human just like everybody else has a family, right? And we're making those connections that way versus just another article on the latest, brokerage failures or where the market is or how bad the market is, those sorts of things. So for me, I'm going to make a basketball post. When we had the Olympics, I was posting a lot about that because I love the Olympics and about running and just making sure that we're connecting with people at the end of the day. When you are posting about business items, make sure that it's timely and it's relevant. It's something that is going to be useful for your audience, either other freight brokers, freight agents, but more importantly, your customers, because that's really who you're trying to reach at the end of the day. Make sure that it's something that they may not have access to, or it's an insight, that you've added to a particular topic from your point of view as a freight agent or freight broker. Be sure to look out 3 to 5 years when you're creating this process and know where you want to go. Again, that roadmap to success, and make sure that you've thought that through. For us at B2B Transportation, we're investing heavily in video, creating content, and there's a lot of other plans that will come out in the future, but we're really excited about that. One of the things we've done is Broker Dude. We've created something that's brand agnostic because we want to reach everybody in the freight brokerage industry, not just people that want to work at B2B Transportation, but we want to create relationships with other freight brokers, freight agents, other people in our industry. And by having Broker Dude and soon to be Broker Babe release, we're able to make that, and then people are going to link that back to who we are actually as a company as well, because we're promoting it both as Freight Broker Dude and as B2B Transportation. This is probably the thing that I got stuck on the longest. Just start. Your first videos, your first posts are going to be absolutely garbage, and that's okay. People are going to know that, but they're also going to see your growth. And who doesn't love a good success story, right? If we go to the movies, we want to find a great story, and it usually starts with kind of a rags to riches approach, or if it's a sports story, they were fourth string and they worked their way up, but they stuck with it. So just start. That's the best advice I can give you. Don't overthink it. Just do it. If you go back and look at some of the first videos I do, I cringe, and I did them. Even some of the recent ones, I'm like, oh, that missed the mark. But I often see that some of the videos that I don't think are that great get the most engagement because they're real and they're authentic and they're not super done up edited videos. So be sure, don't be overly self-conscious during this process. Just post it and see what happens, and then study it and learn and adapt. Figure out ways to connect with the industry that do not line your pockets, because those things are critical, and those are going to create those lasting, meaningful relationships. And if you give without expectation of return, it will come back to you. But do not have the expectation, hey, if I do this for you, will you do that for me? That's not going to work. People are going to see right through that, right? One of the things that we're doing with Broker Dude Apparel is we're going to create a sponsorship for carriers and truckers to attend Broker Carrier Summit. We're going to give a portion of our profits to that, because I think it's one of the most important things we can do as an industry is bring the brokers and the carriers together for a common ground. So understand, how do I create engagement and give without expectation of return? All right, let's circle back to the beginning. How to get shippers as a freight agent. And I want to tell you a little story of how long it took me to get a particular customer when I was at a flatbed company previously. It took me 8 years to land a customer. I did their bid every year. I went through it. I emailed. I consistently followed up. And I knew in my heart that they were the perfect customer for us, but more importantly, we were the perfect carrier for them. And I remember about year 5, I was super excited. I did the bid. I got an award, and they scheduled an onboarding call. And then before the call actually happened, they closed the plant down. I was heartbroken, but just kept going. Forward to year 8, we go through the bid. It's a piece of business that isn't necessarily great for us, but I know it's a way in because they've actually reached out via email. Hey, would you guys be interested in this? I see you bid on a couple lanes. And I went to our ops team and said, listen, this is our opportunity to get, it's not the business we want, but it's the business they need help with. So understand, what are your customers' needs and how do you service those? So we went in, we had to drop some equipment. Again, it wasn't what we were good at, but we knew we could do it because it was close enough to our terminal. We did that, and it really kickstarted a great relationship that they have to this day. Now that is probably 10 plus years later. But what we did is we started again at their request of what they needed help with. We're attending the first carrier conference with this new customer. Sitting down the one-on-ones, they're like, where have you guys been all these years? And I just laughed because I knew that question was going to come up. And so I actually had emails and showed them how I've emailed them for 8 years, and then how we won the previous bid that was then canceled because the plant was closed. So biggest thing on how to get shippers is be patient, play the long game. If this is going to be your career, you're going to build up over time anyway. So why not go after the customers you want, play the long game, and you will not be disappointed. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, comment on here, and share our information. If you're interested in learning more, reach out to us at freightbrokerdude.com for some merch or B2B transportation, and we're here to help. So appreciate you guys. See you soon.